Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 100. It's been 100 consistent weeks. It's been 100 Saturdays of me posting this weekly outlook and setups, and it all started actually from nothing. It was just a way for me to express myself in a video format and to actually journal my trades, to actually have my forecast in a video format. And it's actually a great tip that I can give you is instead of taking screenshots of your charts or posting like a forecast just with a chart, record a video. Because recording a video, you should actually speak and you put all of your senses into the charts. Like you speak, you see, you move your tools and all that stuff. And it's been an amazing way for me to find out a lot of things about my analysis and to really improve. So make sure, record yourself, and actually, the best way to learn something is to teach it to somebody else. Right? So this is how it all started, and then all of you guys started finding value. We've built up from nothing, so I really appreciate every single one of you. And your way to actually thank me if you're finding value from this channel is very simply to just like the videos and post a little comment below. That's it. And of course, subscribe. Right? I was about to make a giveaway, but I decided to do a proper giveaway once we hit 30K on YouTube. So we're pretty close actually. So make sure you are subscribed, and then I'm gonna do a proper giveaway, I promise. And as always, as you know, in this video, we are going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. So, this channel is all about transparency. I always share my trades. I try to be, I'm not trying to be, I am transparent. I always share what it is to actually be a trader, because not every week is a 10% week or 100% week, and all the things that you see on social media could be overwhelming, but they are far from the truth. All right. So for example, this week I had a pretty busy Monday and Tuesday, and I did not look at the charts too much. So I missed the whole movers of the week. Then I started trading on Wednesday and I took a break even. Then on Thursday I took a 0.5% loss, and then on Friday I took a 0.5% loss as well. So I am down for the week. All right. But again, my focus was out of the charts, and I didn't perform well. I did not have my morning rituals and all that stuff. So it was a little bit busy, but that is perfectly fine because the next week is going to be a killer run. So let me know how you did this week. Was it hard for you? I spoke to a lot of traders. I had difficult time this week. So let me know down in the comments. And yeah, before we start, I just want to say that I've been messing up with some cryptos, and I do it with Forex.com. It's an amazing broker with pretty nice spreads for crypto as well. They also have Dogecoin listed, which is pretty good in my opinion. And if you subscribe for the Eco account, every single dollar of commission you pay goes towards planting trees. So I really think this is an amazing initiative, and we should support them on that. Link will be down in the description. And if you already registered, let's have a look. What do we have for this week? Alright, as always, starting with a Dixie to have a look how the dollar performed this week and to potentially judge what the other pairs could do, because the DXY is a basket of the Euro, GBP, JPY, and all that stuff. I have a video on that, so make sure to check it out. So this week, as you can see, if we really zoom in, we have an overall small week. We tried to push down. We were pretty bearish at the time, and then we withdrew to the upside, but basically overall a bearish close. So again, from here, I had two targets for the DXY. One of them was this, and the other one was that. Let me make sure to have a 4 hourly low right there, and then a 4 hourly low right there. So basically I am targeting those two levels because the market pushed to the downside, pulled back, created a lower high right there, and currently we are on our way to create a lower low eventually, right? Dropping onto the daily, you can see that we actually faked below this level on the last day, all right? And we started from right there, 17th of May with a little indecision, then we dropped down, then we pushed up, then we again dropped down, and then we again pushed up. So basically you can see that we have an overall consolidation of that level, but overall the daily trend is to the downside, okay? We had a lower high right there that hasn't been tested yet, but we created a new lower high that we can drop like this. So basically this is actually a very strong supply zone. Dropping onto the 4 hourly time frame, and of course my zones are gonna disappear, so let me fix them very quickly. Visibility, everything, hours, days, weeks, months, ranges, everything. Cool. So then dropping to the 4 hourly time frame, what we can see is, again, we started from right there. The market just pushed to the downside. This was a very nice mover down there. Then we shifted the structure. As you can see, we have a bearish candle, then a bullish candle. And if you drop to the hourly time frame, there is a potential long opportunity just right there. We pump into the highs to potentially come inside this little range. That is also a supply level. We reacted from it. We pushed all the way down. We failed to break below this low. But as you can see, then on the 21st of May, we faked below it, and then we immediately have that bullish reaction. Because why? Once a market actually breaks such a very strong low right there and it just fakes below it, you're always gonna have a reaction, all right? But I really wanted to actually see a lower low, okay? Because right now we basically have a double bottom. Why is it a double bottom? Because the market failed to close with a body close below this low, okay? So basically right now we are stuck in the little range, okay? This is our potential lower high and this is the double bottom right there. So what is the dollar gonna do? That is the biggest question. Well, judging from the daily time frame, of course, I'm looking for sells to potentially break this 4-hourly low and to start targeting the next 4-hourly low, all right? And as you can see right now, we're kind of stuck in the middle of this range. So the DXY can do a couple of things. It can maybe pull back to create a double top to gather more liquidity at this high and then to push to the downside, or it can just create a lower high from here and start pumping down. So as you know, I always tell you guys, flow with the market. Don't say right now on Sunday, okay, the market is just gonna push to the downside, because the market can do this. It can break above and then you have to potentially adjust and maybe forecast that the market could eventually go inside this daily level right there. Because if you just drop your fib right there from the high to the low, you actually, let me drop a normal fib. This is just with 50%. You can see actually that we just very briefly tapped the 50%. So currently, if you try to sell the market, it's not very high probability. So it will be much better to see it actually come again above the 50% into the 621, 705 and 786. All of that pockets, okay? So those are a couple of things that the dollar could do. So it's pretty important for us to judge what it can do, what it's gonna do on Monday, how it's gonna open. In terms of the hourly time frame, I don't see anything clear. Pretty kind of slow price right there. We faked, we broke. Again, another long right there to potentially be taken. But this is basically a DXY, guys. I am overall expecting shorts, but the first question is, where are we gonna take those shorts from? So are we gonna pull back even higher? Are we gonna continue to create a double top and then to potentially flush lower? Or are we just gonna dump from here? Let's wait for Monday, let's see, and then stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram. Let's have a look at Euro USD. Again, just figuring out where we are potentially going. Well, we actually had this very significant high that was also broken by a little bit. And then the next high that I really want to see broken is actually this 23,500. And on GU, we have 42,500, I think. So I really want to see those two levels get tapped and then even eventually to go for a monthly high, because this is actually where the market is headed, right? We had a massive pump up, a very nice correction. Right now, we are headed into the upside to potentially make a high. This is where I eventually want to see the market. But right now, this week, as you can see, we nicely pumped into the highs. Basically, Monday and Tuesday were massive. Amazing long opportunities down there. But then I started trading on Wednesday and basically the market was already like in the move. Then it started to consolidate and all that stuff. So it wasn't really nice. So what could happen after this like it's a pin bar also, we can definitely have maybe, I'm afraid, a selling week. Why? Let's have a look why. Because if you remember from the DXY again, we have this higher low right there, push higher high, beautiful, higher low again. And then right now we're in a higher high. So again, if I drop my fib, right there, we just are tapping right now the 38.2%. So there is a very high chance that we're gonna tap inside this level right there and then to potentially start heading higher. Okay, so that is a little bit of like a hard time frame analysis, and I would really love to see the market tap inside this indecision candle on the daily, okay, to just fulfill this wick, which is structure on the 4-hourly time frame that hasn't been retested. Okay, so what happened this week? We opened up right there. Right, we just consolidated. There were a couple of longs right there, and then the market on Tuesday decided to explode to the upside. And if you drop to your lowest time frames, the 3-minute, the 1-minute, there are tons of long opportunities inside this big candle right there. And basically, even from right there were also a lot. Then another potential long would have been from right there, but it developed a little bit too early. Basically, there is your 4-hourly level. It got retested. We tried to push up. But a very good thing to actually spot is where I actually did wrong. I have a losing trade right there, exactly at the top. I was quite emotional for me losing, not losing, but missing all of those trades on Monday and Tuesday. And I was trying to catch something and then I was not in the proper mindset, so I ended up losing. But of course, I keep my risk low when I figure out immediately that I'm not in a good state of mind to potentially minimize losses. As you can see, we actually faked above and I called this to my team, all right? So if you have a look, there is this high. So as we broke that high, I was like, we are going for sells. And actually there were a couple of sells to be taken right there, which I of course missed. Pull back, double top right there, and right now we're starting to break lower. What I don't like is that we haven't still closed with a body close below this lowest wick. Basically, this is still not a lower low, okay? But what I would expect to happen is to maybe have a little bit of a pullback to really confirm a lower high, and then to maybe start pushing lower inside this daily level, okay? And from here, we can actually start looking for a new daily high, because if you simply look at the daily, currently this is your daily push, so we are at the highs right now. So have a look at this daily push. The market pulled back to the 61.8. Okay, so if we just simply move the FIP right now like this, it's exactly the same move. We still have to pull back a little bit. Okay, so definitely a deeper daily pullback is expected. Let me show you my trades actually. Group one, let's see, let me drop to the, so yeah, the first trade that I took was actually, I spotted that the market was tapping inside this level and I was expecting the market to reach the highs. And of course I took my trade, dropping to the 3-minute. A lot of things happened right there during the Asian range. As you can see, like the market was starting to reverse, tap here, tap there, manipulation down there perfectly, then another tap right there. So as you can see, from the downside, we started creating bullish structure. Okay, so I knew that we're overall starting to go to the upside. Then what I spotted on Frankfurt Open is that the market like pushed into the highs, created a higher low, and nicely pushed to the upside. So basically, I wanted to enter from this higher low, failing to acknowledge that there was that unretested wick right there. So I dropped to the 1-minute as well, where the price was a little bit clearer. And as you can see right there, we have this nice push to the downside that took some sort of liquidity right there. We impulsed into the highs. Also a little bit of a double bottom right there, which I always want to see before my entries. And then I get tapped out right there. I'm gonna share my MT4 stats so you can see. And I kept a pretty tight stop loss, 2 pips. This is what I'm currently doing as well. I'm really refining my approach. I'm getting like 2 to 5 pip stop losses. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword because you're gonna get trades like this. But if you nail the trade right, then you can have a big R&R. So I'm actually perfectly fine with taking some of those losses. But if only I actually allowed maybe a 5 pip stop loss, I would have been good. But I lost that trade and then actually went to full TP at the highs. There was something on the left that I was targeting right there. And basically this is my first trade. 0.5% loss because I always start my week with 0.5%. And then as it goes, I start increasing my risk if I find myself trading in the proper state of mind and having good trades. Then as you can see, we have a very nice uptrend. So a lot of another mistake that I do a lot of times is then I failed to just follow the market. Like if I get stopped out on that trade, enter right there. It's exactly the same trade. If I miss this one, enter right there, right? It's exactly the same trade. So 2 opportunities right there to get long and to potentially scalp the market and extract something. And then again, we continue to trade higher and higher and higher and higher. Opportunity here, opportunity there, opportunities everywhere. All right. It's just about catching them all. Then another mistake that I did is to trade very high in the range. So basically I traded the high, but I was looking for that final spike above. But basically the market already took the Asian high, which is right there. So basically it was manipulated. But what I did is I spotted again, okay, let's follow the structure. It's perfectly bullish. We had a little drop to the downside. There is our manipulation right there. We consolidate, we massively impulsed above. So I was like, okay, I really like this level right there. So I'm going to take a long again, 0.5% stop loss below, and boom, it was a quick stop loss. And what I failed to acknowledge immediately is I was in a pretty bad state of mind this week, was that we just very beautifully wicked above this level. We left a beautiful 50-minute pin bar and then we just dropped to the downside. So, okay, take your loss, but then I was immediately out of the charts again, doing some other stuff. And what I failed to spot is that the market created a beautiful bearish structure. I'm also going to share my MT4 stats on this one. If I delete, have a look. So we created this beautiful lower high right there and then a massive pump to the downside. First tap right there, pushed to the downside, broke the lows. Second tap right there, which actually tapped 50% of the zone, and then we just melted. So this could have been a trade that I would have taken, but everything is journaled. And yes, again, I keep improving every single week. So it's going to become better and better and better. So let's see what could happen next week. Again, as I said, we're currently a little bit stuck inside this range. So I really want to see how this market is going to open. Are we going to have some sort of an hourly pullback to the upside to tap in some of those levels to create a lower high and then to dump to the downside inside this daily level? Or are we going to start very impulsively to the upside and maybe breaking the highs? Okay, so I don't want to forecast anything from right now. Let's flow with the market. Let's see how it's going to open. And of course, make sure to stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis. But overall, also on EU, we're stuck in the range between this double top. And right now we also have a double bottom. So let's wait. Let's have a brief look at EJ, which is really crying for a pullback. Have a look. We have 3 weeks of consecutive bullishness, and right now we have a nice pin bar on top. But again, another thing is that as everybody starts thinking that the market is too high, the market keeps pushing up. Okay, but basically you can see the market is starting to get really corrective on this. Compare this push to the upside and then compare this push to the upside. All right, this one took 5 candles, this one is taking quite a lot more, which means that the push to the upside is getting quite corrective, and I would expect the market to fall a little bit. And even again, if you take your daily fib from here to here, you would spot that we are definitely in the need of a pullback. In order to identify the daily high low, it starts from right there, this big zone, right? So this is eventually where we want to see the market go. Why do you disappear again? Then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, what we can see this week is we had a little long opportunity somewhere right there on EJ. But yes, we opened with again a nice pump to the upside. We created a high. We pulled back with a wick. Then we pushed up. We filled the wick perfectly. So there was your long. I think there was a beautiful long right there. I'm gonna try to show you. We push into the highs. And again, you can see we kind of break this very minor structure right there. Okay, because this is your kind of a lower high. Lower low, we break above, so we can definitely start looking for longs right there. But as you can see, like, yes, we just reverse to the downside, and maybe it's gonna be better seen on the hourly. Why? Okay, because as I always tell you guys, flow with the market, see where the momentum is. Have a look at the momentum to the upside. It's chop, pop, and then all of a sudden, boom, massive drop to the downside. So this immediately tells you that there is a lot of selling pressure incoming. Okay, so what the market did again is drop your fib. It was consolidating around the 50%, and then it went into the 61.8 and 705 and even 786 pocket, and then we just dumped. Okay, so this is what EJ did. But before that, we had this, which I called also to my team. There is this level right there. The market pushed to the downside and started breaking structure above. Nice consolidation during Asia, and then around, yeah, this is actually 2 hours, 1 hour and a half or 2 hours after London Open. We tap inside this level, and if you drop to the 1 minute, you also have a beautiful entry right there. So that could have been a beautiful long on EJ. Then we push into the highs, and again, what you see, we tap right there, push to the downside, failure to make a new high. So basically this is your MSS formation from the free course, push to the downside and retest of the previous structure. So there is your short right there. And then we drop to the downside. There is your other short right there. And then we again drop to the downside. So Monday could have been huge for EJ. But then what could happen right now is I see that we actually have a break of structure right there. So what I'm gonna wait for is for the market to pull back, to create a lower high on the 4-hourly, and then to dump to the downside inside this daily level, which just disappeared. Okay, so looking more or less for shorts on EJ. Let's wait for a pullback and see how it's gonna develop and if we're gonna have a drop to the downside. Let's have a look at the Aussies, starting from AU. I also dropped this pair from my main watch list. Currently, I'm really focused on EU and GU, but let's have a look what this one did. So overall, we're having a bearish week right there with a wick on top and a wick on the bottom. So more or less indecision, and it's an inside bar. So it's inside this previous weekly candle. So basically, currently we are in a consolidation. Dropping onto the daily time frame, you can clearly see in what kind of consolidation we are. And to be extremely honest with you, it's very hard to actually figure out the direction of AU. Because if I just drop this resistance right there, this seems like it was a fake out, broke below, retest this level, retest again, and basically we're just stuck between this resistance and then this supports, right? And as you can see, the lowest portion right there, yes, actually this is the lowest portion right there of this week. It was never broken below right there. So basically we're just stuck inside this pretty nasty consolidation. And yeah, even the daily time frame is still failing to break below, so it's pretty hard to actually figure out a potential direction on AU. But of course, if you're an intraday trader, you can always find some setups. What do we have this week? We opened up from right there with a little bit of a pullback, so potential longs from right there. They were pretty fast though. Yep, we tap inside, we push higher high formation. So after this, you start looking for longs. Okay, but the market says no, we drop even further and we kind of create a lower low, right? And there was actually a nice setup that I called to the team. I think it was on Friday. I think it was this one. Yep. So overall on the hourly time frame, we broke structure to the upside. Come on, we broke structure up right there, and then we came to retest the last higher low. Okay, because you can see push, higher low, perfectly balanced, push to the upside again, slowly coming inside this area, and there was a trade that was taken, and then there was the other one. that could have been taken as well, but overall no clear direction. Okay, if you just examine your whole week of price, it starts from here and it overall ends right there, so no real movement. But this right there was pretty nice because we tap inside, and if you drop also to the 1 minute, you have a perfect pattern right there. You have the market moving down, you have the change of structure with a nice impulsive leg, break the last lower high, and basically your entry is right there. So we had my team members taking this trade, stop loss below 2 pips, and then riding it all the way into the highs for a higher high right there. So this was a pretty nice trade for a 18 R&R. And yes, basically, if I am to figure out right now what is potentially gonna happen with AU, I am, to be honest, not sure. Because again, we see that we failed to break above the high. So basically, I'm looking more for sells, because from here we broke the lows. This is a lower high. If I drop my fib from here to here, we perfectly tapped into the 705 and 61.8 pocket, and right now we're heading lower. Okay, we have this massive bearish candle right there. So what I'm going to be looking for is for a pullback, lower high, and then a dump to the downside, where we can potentially target this daily level right there that hasn't been retested. Like, this is a whole range that hasn't been retested, just the high right there, but I want to see drop right there. So let's see if we're gonna have actually a bearish week on AU. Same story with AJ, but as you can see, again, like, we open up right there and it's really choppy, it's really wicky, push to the downside, consolidation, move down, move up, move down again. So basically this is our lower high right now, and we're currently about to attempt to make a new lower low right there. If this one breaks, then there is our next target that is gonna break, and if this one breaks, then we're gonna expose the lows all the way down there. If I just quickly consult with the daily, yeah, definitely I want to see the market retest this wick that hasn't been retested. So there are a lot of lines that I drew right there, but yeah, basically this is gonna be my daily target. First, I want to see a break of this low, then this one is gonna break, and then we're gonna tap inside this overall daily range, from where we can start potentially looking for longs. But as for right now, my focus is on shorts. As you can see, we pushed to the downside, then a strong pullback, but actually failed to make a higher high. So this is a lower high, a nice pump to the downside. So basically right now the market is playing within that range. So what I want to see is how it's gonna pull back maybe again to create a lower high, and if it's gonna dump, or if it just impulses strongly from here, starts breaking the lows, then potentially we should start again, we should start adapting and start taking shorts towards all of those levels that we spotted. Okay, so that's my outlook on AJ. Nothing is for sure right now. Let's see how it develops within this range, but if we break above this high, I'm potentially gonna turn to buys, but I'm personally looking for something like this. So let's see. Next on the list are the NZDs, so let's have a look right there. What do we have on the weekly time frame? Is the market creating this big weekly wick, then we drop to the downside, and basically this created a nice swing. And if we drop the fib, we can see that we have already pulled back quite enough. So actually we can right now expect a nice dump to the downside. So is this really gonna happen, and are we eventually gonna retest this whole weekly range, which could actually be a monthly demand level? Let's see. And we're overall having a bearish weekly candle, but then dropping on the daily is the same situation with AU. It's directionless right now. All right, push up, push down, push up, push down, push up, push down, failing to break the lows and failing to break the highs. So basically in a daily consolidation, and eventually if we break below, the first target will be this range. So let's of course mark it down. I'm sure it's gonna disappear, so let me check why. Oh, didn't I fix you, bro? Why are you like this again? Cool. And then dropping to the 4-hourly time frame, overall we can see that this is really nice and starting to look bearish. There is that level that the market really nicely reacted from. So as you can see, actually very nice opportunities on NU this week, because we have like this shift of market structure at the bottom. There is your lower high, lower low, higher high, retest, beautiful long, and a nice explosion outside of this level. Okay, so spot what the market did before leaving that explosion. It left this very nice indecision candle right there, which creates a very nice demand. We tap inside, immediately reacting, another long trade right there. Then where we go inside this level that the market is actually originally coming from, this push. So we basically created a complex correction to tap inside this level, and right now we should be heading for a lower low. So basically this is NU summed up very quickly. And yes, right now we nicely exploded outside. Basically the area that I wanted to see retested is this one. Okay, we tried to retest, failed. Basically a long right there. Again, we pushed into the highs, and basically then we dropped to the downside. We still haven't broken the lows, which I would really love to see broken, and very similar to AU. If we break this low, this is going to expose this low, and if this low gets broken, then we're going all the way down to this low, and then potentially this very nice consolidation right there. So let's see, my plan on NU is exactly the same as on AU. As you can see, we actually had a very nice liquidity grab above this high, a nice wick to take all the liquidity. We dropped to the downside. We actually break structure down there. This is a structure break to the downside. And right now where I'm going to be looking for is for this supply level to get tapped and then to potentially take a short from right there and then target potential lower lows. So really nice setup is aligning on NZD/USD. So let's see if it's actually gonna play out. Exactly the same story with NJ, just a little bit choppier because this is more influenced by UJ. But as you can see, again, creating a high, a low, a pullback. This is your lower high. So it failed to break above this high. So this is our major lower high. Then the market drops to the downside. It leaves a little bit of a supply area just right there that I would really love to see retested. Okay. And then at the lows, we started consolidating. So basically this one hasn't still taken liquidity. So basically for this sort of double top right there, that can definitely get taken out first. But yes, so as you can see, NU looked much better in terms of price action. We actually have a lower low on NU right there. We don't have a lower low. Okay. So if I'm trading, if I'm trying to pick between those two pairs, I would definitely pick NU, but same story for this one. Let's see if it's actually going to pull back right there to consolidate and push down. Keep in mind that we might pump a little bit higher on this one, depending on UJ, depending on the DXY for the JPYs. So let's have a look. But this is my overall outlook for the NZDs. Looking for bearishness, even with the weekly time frame. Have a look how we're starting to round right there, like how we're starting to slowly reverse to the downside. Okay, that big accumulation phase right there to potentially start pumping down, because the market is not just gonna tap a weekly high and and reverse. Okay, it will usually do this. It's gonna confuse people, and yeah, but basically shorts on the NZDs. Let's see if we're gonna get them. Let's analyze USD JPY. So we have a week of indecision. So basically this is an inside bar, which is a really powerful formation because next week we can actually expect a breakout eventually. So this is the mother candle. So definitely we can pump outside both of those levels. So then dropping to the daily time frame, we can see how the market very sharply impulsed to the upside, and then we're having this really nice corrective pullback. But is this actually going to be a higher low for the market to impulse to the upside, or are we turning down? We shall see, because right now it's overall indecisive. I would much prefer to actually have sellers on this one, because from the weekly time frame, we're having this massive pump into the highs. And if I just simply drop my FIP, we tapped the 50%, but this is not enough for another high, I believe. I believe we should tap again into those lower levels and then to potentially impulse. Okay, so this is from the weekly time frame. Dropping onto the daily, nothing much to extract. We faked above this high just by a little, and then we started to withdraw to the downside. But yeah, have a look on the daily. We have one candle of pump to the upside one day, and then it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to actually pull back to that candle. So the bullish momentum is more than the bearish, right? This is a little thing that we should spot. And then dropping onto the hourly, actually we had a beautiful downtrend. Push, pull back, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we have a little bit of a madness right there. There were some news, massive spike up, massive spike down, the pump into the highs, then a pump into the lows. So basically UJ is a madness. And as I told you, having this inside bar, I would expect some sort of a breakout for next week. In which direction? I am not sure. Okay, basically right now the market is reacting from this very nice demand level right there. We tapped first, we tapped twice, and it's kind of taking the buy orders from right there. So I actually get a feeling that we might drop lower. Okay, maybe if we're gonna extract something from the hourly, there is this massive move right there. We had a punch into the highs, a punch into the lows, and then a punch into the highs as well. So definitely manipulation, avoiding trading this sort of price action. But what is interesting is that we failed to make a higher high. Okay, so basically we stayed below this major high, and right now we're making our way to the downside, but also we failed to break this low right there. So basically right now we're stuck in a weekly range, in a daily range, in a 4-hourly, in an hourly range. Okay, so this is definitely cooking for something, so I'm definitely giving it some time to develop. Okay, and yes, let me know what your bias is on UJ. Definitely a lot of shorts along the way, but right now we are already way too deep inside this daily pullback. We actually closed below the 78.6, So definitely curious to see what's gonna happen, but I will be monitoring for the market pulling back again inside this level, creating a lower high and then to potentially pumping down. Okay, but what could also happen is the market can pull back, higher low, and then start targeting the highs into the upside, because all of this right now is like liquidity, trend line, whatever it is. This is all people going short. So there are a lot of stop losses building right there for all the people that are short. So we can definitely actually explode to the upside as well. So let's see, 50-50 on UJ, waiting for Monday for some clear price action and then to figure out the potential direction. And I'm gonna let you know on Tuesday. Let's have a look at the GBPs, as always starting with GU. Let's have a look on the weekly time frame first. So as you can see, we are in an overall uptrend. We had a push, we had a nice and a corrective pullback. We showed the break of structure, we showed the retest right there, and right now we're in 3 weeks of bullishness. Okay, so eventually we are targeting a higher high, as I told you, 42,500 on EU. On EU we had 20, I forgot the number, but it's kind of the same right there. We're looking for a weekly higher high. And as you can see, the market tried to reach out for it this week, but kind of failed, all right? And we withdrew and we make a nice pin bar right there. So the question for next week is, are we gonna pump to create a higher high? That is the biggest question for me. Well, let's drop to the daily time frame. So as you can see, very similar to EU, we had a nice pump, we had a pullback, and right now we're gonna have a little pump. So compare those 3 candles to the upside and those 3 candles. So the momentum to the upside is starting to become lower and lower, right? So right now we're at the highs and we've been kind of ranging for 4 days up there. So basically I would really love to see GU fall back down right there, because if I have a look at that overall push to the upside, it starts from right here to here. And yes, we had a little bit right there, but this is not a pullback at all. 38.2 right now we're here. So basically I'm waiting for this whole level to get tapped, maybe before starting to pump up. So this is the biggest question that we still have to figure out as the market starts to open up. Then dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, we open up right there on a Monday. Beautiful long opportunities inside this whole range. If you drop to the lowest time frames, you're gonna see them. Then on Tuesday we had the pump, another long opportunities inside those wicks, and then basically I started trading when the move was already over. So I traded within this ugly consolidation, and then basically a very nice trade to take is this, because we had a higher high. Beautiful. Where does the higher high originate from? This level right there, this consolidation. We tap inside, we stay for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 hours, staying inside this level, impulsing into the highs. Nice wick above to take out the liquidity above the previous high, which is also significant, but I would have really loved to have a look at this to take this high right there. So right now there is a big question. Are we gonna, for example, tap inside this 4-hourly level again, target the highs, and then to potentially have the big reversal, or are we gonna reverse from here? Because we have a very recent break of structure. So we basically have a liquidity grab, a push, break of structure, and then we can potentially have a pullback, lower high, and a dump to the downside. So those are a few scenarios that I'm looking for GU. If I drop on the hourly time frame, we can clearly see that pattern right there, like consolidation, confusion, a massive pump into the highs to trick a lot of buyers into the market, leaving this big pin bar right there after taking out the stop losses right there, and also people that enter longs, and then a nice dump into the downside, breaking structure. Okay, so what we can have definitely is the market pulling back towards that area and then dumping into the lows, and then continuing to trade all the way down, maybe even towards that daily level. So those are the few questions that I want answered on GU. And of course, do not marry a setup, just flow with the market and see what it shows you. If I'm to show you my pair, my trade, I basically took inside this ugly range right there. So let me show you. Let's drop to the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, basically I missed all of those nice moves, starting even from here. Push, there is one long right. No, this is Asian session. Yeah, there is your first long, there is your second long right there, and then we're already up there starting to consolidate. Okay, so what I did is I of course went to the 1 minute, and we had this nice spike above that faked above the Asia high right there. So that was my first confluence. Then we start creating bearish structure. You can see high, almost the higher low, but it actually broke. If we're honest, it broke the previous higher low right there. So basically this is a lower low, lower high, lower low. So I was thinking to take this trade. I hesitated on taking it. Then we had a lower low, and I said, okay, we might be about to drop further. And basically I traded the retest of this level. So I entered right there. I'm going to share my MT4 stats as well. This is basically a retest. Had a nice reaction right there. And but then as I started seeing, also I was monitoring even lower time frames in the 1 minute. this wick, but then this wick failed to follow through to the downside, and then I was starting to see the market actually create bullish structure from the downside, and I went break even, and I got stopped out at break even. Then what the market did, it came at the top right there to potentially test something right there inside this wick, and then we dropped lower. And then again, what I failed to recognize is that I had a couple of other short setups. Then we actually had the lower low that I wanted to see, and then we actually had the retest. Another short right there, another pullback, another short right there, another pullback, potentially even a short from here that could have been maybe stopped out depending on your stop loss. And as you can see, quite a lot of short opportunities, but my problem this week was landing on the wrong trades. Basically, I missed all of the winners and then I only took the losers. And that is why it's important, guys, to take all of your setups that fit your plan so that you don't end up like this, landing on the losses and missing out on the winners. Okay. So basically, as I told you, right now, we have faked above this high. Basically, right now, we should say that we're in a double top formation. We still have this demand right there that we're about to test. But if you drop to the hourly time frame, we can see that we're having a very recent structure shift. So what I want to see is, are we going to have a pullback inside this level to take a short, then potentially into the demand, and if we're going to change the structure into the demand and then to potentially target into the highs. But if we don't change the structure at the demand, then we're simply going to have a drop lower, a break of that structure, and then it's all about taking shorts towards this low and then towards even the daily low. Okay, so that's my plan on GU, guys. And let's see how actually the market is going to open, and I'm going to give you updates on Tuesday. Going to GJ quickly, it's also crying for a pullback. Okay, so that means that GU can also have that daily pullback. All right, this one, where is it reaching for? We're potentially this high, but we still have 200 pips towards that high, so I don't think we're gonna actually take this one out before having the pullback. And again, as you can see, like everything push, deep pullback, nice, push, little pullback, consolidate, and a nice pump into the highs. So basically, if you drop your range, there's your range. We haven't even retested the 38.2. So this is really crying for a pullback to potentially come and retest this daily level and then drop. Why do you keep disappearing? And then just dropping to the hourly time frame. You're trading in an overall consolidation right now. Keep in mind, little push, pullback, potential long high, starting to change, a massive drop lower, big wick, pullback, filling of the wick. Then we tried to push higher, but we failed to push higher. And basically what we're doing right now is we're testing this supply. Okay, and if this supply holds, I would love to see a lower low, because if we see a lower low of this structure, then we start taking shorts towards the daily area that just disappeared. We can go as low as 152. Okay, so that's my plan on GJ, to potentially see some shorts. In terms of the hourly time frame, yeah, have a look at that beautiful fake right there to tap 50% of this whole range right there. I haven't seen the structure shift on the hourly time frame, so basically I really want to see this structure break as well, and then potentially I'm gonna start looking for shorts if provided. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for GJ. It's definitely crying for a pullback, and as I explained to you on another pair, have a look how we're starting to round right there and to potentially start looking for shorts. Okay, and basically for those of you guys that also look at Wyckoff, I think this can also be such a pattern, but you don't need to know those things. It's all structure according to me, right? GA, this is a pair that I don't understand, to be honest, so I'm not trading this one, never. I know a lot of people that are masters at it, but yeah, currently if you just have a look at the simple structure, we have broken the high right there. We have created a new high. So basically we have already retested as well the area, and basically right now we're creating a little bit of a confusion. Spike into the highs, spike into the lows, spike into the highs again. So what are you gonna do, GA? I don't know. But in terms of a weekly time frame as well, it is just breaking the highs. So it's in a push phase right now. So we can start anticipating that pullback. Okay, but when is this pullback gonna occur? Well, for sure, make sure to wait for a structure change on the hourly, for example, a break of this low, pullback, lower high, and then to potentially start targeting lower. Okay, but I don't have any expectations on GA right now, so let's have a look at Euro GBP, which has been a pretty messy pair right there. So we opened up right there, 17th of May, push down, push up, push back down. So what does the weekly candle look like? Yeah, look at that weekly candle, lovely. So trying to figure out where this can potentially go, right? So have a look at that big push. So currently we are in this sort of formation. We have a pump and we have a pullback, and we should expect another pump. Okay, the market showed a little bit of bullishness, and currently we're actually retesting this weekly area, which we already did. Okay, now it's gonna disappear. I knew it. Stop doing that. But yes, we are currently failing to break above okay? And basically we have this really strong daily level right there that broke structure to the downside, all right? So we are overall bearish. Oh, you keep disappearing. But if we drop to the 4-hourly time frame, it's completely messy right there. So we push lower, we create a higher low, then we push higher, we can say that we create a higher high, okay? Then we actually retest this level and we very nicely react from it. So are we gonna have a little bit of a pump to the upside? I really would love to see this daily level retested right there. So let's see if we're actually gonna have a retest of that level, and then we can potentially sell off. If Euro GBP is up, that means GU should go down as well, and both of them can retest those daily levels, and then we can potentially have a nice trend. So let's see. But this is basically my outlook on the GBPs. The only GBP pair I trade is GU, right? So make sure to focus on just one, because usually it's gonna provide the clearest setups of all. But let me know, as always, your thoughts in the comments. I'm always open for suggestions. My analysis on Monday can completely be invalidated, so let me know what you guys are thinking. And let's have a look at gold and some indices now. Another bullish week for gold, and as you know what investors usually say, when the stock market is crashing and when we're having inflation, invest in gold. And as you can see, this is already starting to reflect. We're having a nice pump to the upside. Are we gonna take out the highs? We shall see in the upcoming weeks. On the daily time frame, I feel that we're getting a little bit too high right there, and starting to wick, starting to become like a little bit messier. So definitely we should expect a pullback soon towards this daily level, and to potentially fulfill some daily fibs as well. Dropping onto the 4-hourly time, they keep disappearing. Dropping onto the 4-hourly time frame, there was a pretty nice long to be taken this week, and there are a lot of people that took it. Basically, we have a higher high, you have a nice sell to buy right there, and then the market taps inside this level very briefly. And of course, if you drop to your lowest time frames, you're gonna see how you could have entered long right there. But this is basically the move on gold this week. So we again opened on the 17th of May. We had a massive pump up, consolidated, tap, higher low, push, higher high, and then we just ended up consolidating. Okay, so as I told you, I can definitely start thinking for potential shorts because we're starting to really consolidate and the market is in a need of a pullback. So let's see how this is gonna go. Let me know if you're still looking for longs on gold. Yes, longer term it is longs. And potentially you should always consult with the daily where we're potentially going. And a nice area that I see is right there, but we still have quite a lot of pips to climb towards this. So we can maybe first have the pullback and then to potentially climb towards that level. So let's see. But if I am to take any shorts, then first of all, I need to see my structure shift, which is not seen on any time frames right now. Perfectly, the hourly is trending to the upside, the 4-hourly is trending up. So if I'm to take any shorts, of course, first of all, I need to see a lower low, retest, lower high, and then we can potentially start looking for shorts. But let's see, because we can just open and we can just pump to the upside, because this is gold, it usually does this. So let's see. Having a look at the indices, they are overall stuck in a range, all right? With everything that is going on right now, I start to smell maybe a little bit of a correction cooking, because as you can see, even in terms of technicals, we have this nice hard high, but then we have a massive plummet to the downside with a lot of momentum that broke structure, pullback, potential lower high, but then we failed to break lower. So basically right now, as I have having here marked, we're stuck in a range. Okay, there is our high, there is our low, the market pushed, it retested the low, as I told you, it failed to break, but yeah, basically there is the kind of the middle of the range overall. The market is testing it always, so it's very tricky right now to figure out where potentially US30 can go according to the technicals. Okay, I would really love to see a crash on this one, but let's see. Eventually, if we break above this level, we can have a quick retest towards the highs, and then it's going to be all about to see if we're actually going to break the highs, or are we going to react and then to potentially push lower. So let's see. But we can also react from this level and to potentially create a lower low. So definitely let's wait for market open and then to judge what could happen. As you can see on NASDAQ, nice wick right there, a nice bullish wick, but an overall indecision candle and also an inside bar. So basically this immediately means that we're in a consolidation. The daily reacted from this very strong demand, tap, reaction, break of structure, second retest right there, and another break of structure on the daily. So this is already starting to cook for a little bit of buyers, but we are about to react from this daily supply right now, which again disappeared, but I have another one. You didn't trick me, trading view, this time. But yes, basically this is starting to look a little bit more bullish, okay? A potential level for reaction is this one, or maybe even the lows right there. So let's see if we're gonna have something like this, and then from here we should just adjust and see what the overall context looks like, because we can do a lot of things from this level, because this is the last lower high that the market was very massively sold off. So if we come inside, we're gonna be met with a lot of reaction and a lot of sellers. So then from here we have to see if we're gonna have a reaction and a continuation, or are we gonna have a dump. So let's see, but this is my overall outlook on NASDAQ. And my favorite index as well, S&P. I bought some down there, which I'm pretty happy about. But of course, I would expect maybe a drop. Who knows? Because you can see that we're pretty high right now. We're starting to wick, but we have a lot of space to fill to the downside as well. And of course, this depends on the companies and economy. I sold one of my biggest holding, which was AT&T. A lot of rumors that they're about to cut their dividend with their partnership with Discovery. So I didn't like how, where, and everything is going. So I sold all of my holdings, which I'm pretty sad because they were paying me a pretty nice dividend, but it is what it is. And yes, right now on S&P, pretty consolidative right there. The same resistance level the market is reacting from. We actually took the liquidity above, so we're gonna have a pullback. Potential pullback level will be this. So what I'm gonna be looking for is if we're gonna have a reaction from this level to potentially pump higher, and then to maybe even make higher highs. So let's see. And this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did, make sure to hit the like button, make sure you are subscribed as well, and leave a comment below if you're just thankful for those weekly outlook and setups. I'm sorry for being busy this week. I did not record a midweek video. As I promised, I'm gonna do my best to start posting a little bit more educational as well, and trade breakdowns as well. I'm gonna do this for sure. And yes, talk to you on Tuesday on my Telegram analysis, and have a relaxing weekend and a crushing week ahead of you.